Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. In this offline demonstration video, I am going to start the next topic, that is the histology of respiratory system. In this particular topic, we are going to cover all the organs and their histology which are included in the respiratory system. And before going into detail of the histological features of the organs which are part of the respiratory system, I am just going to convey that this week theory class will be conducted by me, in which I am also going to discuss the details of the respiratory system. So keeping this in mind, I have just keep this demonstration video to all those features which are important from the practical point of view, from your exam point of view, which can be asked in your practical exam. So in theory class, we are going to discuss all the detailed theoretical aspects of this respiratory system. So I have not included any theoretical written part in this PPT on which I am recording the demonstration video. So before going towards the individual structures, here is a schematic diagram from a canine in which there are certain parts which are labeled, which are part of organs of the respiratory system. It starts from the nostrils, which is the opening of the nasal cavity, nose, nasal cavity, then the common passageway is pharynx, and then pharynx open into the larynx, which is important for the vocal point of view as well. And it is the part which is directly connecting the common passageway with the pipeline, which is conducting all the airs into the lungs, that is trachea, and then the branches of trachea are termed as bronchus. Outside lungs, where the pointed is now, will be termed as extrapulmonary bronchi or extrapulmonary bronchus. Extrapulmonary means that they are present outside lung, and then from these bronchus they will penetrate inside the lungs through iris, and then within lungs they are going to branch. And some texts say that there are almost 6,000 divisions of the bronchus which is entering into the lung. Like, you can easily distinguish that this is the first division, and then from this division onward this is the second division, so onward the branches is going inside, as it is also demonstrated through the word as bronchial tree. So all the three tree branches are included. So there are some texts say that it is almost 6,000 in number before it reaches out the level of alveolus or alveolar duct, the main site where the gases exchange is happening. So to enlist the organs which are not labeled here, the bronchus, which is extrapulmonary bronchus here, then the bronchus which are present inside the lungs, those are termed as intrapulmonary bronchus, and then the branches of bronchus reaches out at a specific histological features where there is no cartilage inside the bronchus, then that branch of this tree is termed as bronchiole. And then the last branch of bronchiole is respiratory bronchiole. From respiratory bronchiole, the passageway is connected with the alveolar ducts. Alveolar ducts are the passageway which are directly connected with alveolar sacs, and alveolar sacs are just the collections of alveoli. The alveoli are actually the sites where the gaseous exchange is happening between blood and the alveolus. To be more precise, the carbon dioxide is coming from the tissue in deoxygenated blood, and that is conveyed to the respiratory uh, part, and then from air the oxygen which is inhaled is being transported into the lung as oxygenated blood, and then it is carried through the blood circulatory system to the all tissues. So this is the basic overview. There are different criteria which can be applied on dividing the organs of the respiratory system. One of the division which you must have gone through or you must have heard till now is upper respiratory system and lower respiratory system. The demarcation point is trachea. Above trachea, all the above parts like nasal cavity, pharynx, and larynx, they are commonly considered as the part of the upper respiratory system, and then from trachea onward, all the parts of respiratory system downward till alveolus are considered as the lower respiratory system. But the term which or the criteria which we are going to use is bit different. It is more dependent upon the functionality of that particular part of the respiratory system. On that basis, we are dividing the respiratory system into the conducting zone or conducting portion and actual gaseous exchange portion. So इसमें बेसिकली जो डिवीजन है एज द नेम इम्प्लाइज कि कंडक्टिंग पोर्शन में वो सारे के सारे ऑर्गन्स आ जाएंगे रेस्पिरेटरी सिस्टम में जहाँ पे गैसेस एक्सचेंज तो पॉसिबल नहीं है बट दे आर इन्वॉल्व इन द कंडक्शन और द ट्रांसपोर्टेशन ऑफ गैसेस फ्रॉम इनवर्ड एंड आउटवर्ड जहाँ पे कोई गैसेस एक्सचेंज नहीं हो रहा टू बी सिंपल. And then the second part where actually the gaseous exchange is happening is termed as the gaseous exchange part. The gaseous exchange part started from the last branch of bronchiole, that is the respiratory bronchiole, and it also have the alveolar duct, alveolar sac, and alveoli at its component, and the remaining all the organs or the parts of the respiratory system above bronchiole, respiratory bronchioles, जिसमें अगर हम अपने लिहाज से देखें तो there is terminal bronchiole which we have to identify. There is intrapulmonary bronchiole, then intrapulmonary bronchus, extrapulmonary bronchus, trachea, larynx, pharynx, nasal cavity. ये जो सारे organs के भी मैंने नाम लिए हैं, they are the part of the conducting portion. तो उस बेस पे हमने आइडेंटिफाई करना है. So starting with the histological features, we will start with the histological features of epiglottis. We are from practical point of view, identification point of view, just skipping the structure of nasal cavity, pharynx and larynx. We will discuss all these parts of respiratory system in our theory part, but practical point of view से जहाँ से हम start ले रहे हैं, that is pharynx. तो अगर हम pharynx के sorry, that is not epiglottis, not pharynx, excuse me. अगर हम epiglottis की बात करें तो it is just a flap which have two sides, and that flap is basically present at the opening of the larynx, और उस larynx की opening को वो close रखता है या open रखता है depending upon the requirement. Okay. Gaseous exchange किया है, inhale किया है animal ने, तो that epiglottis is going to open the opening of the larynx if the animal is eating, or basically digestive system is performing its function, chewing or yet, then it will keep the larynx opening closed. So it is just like the door of a room, of your room, and that the door have two sides, one which is facing the inside of the room and the one which is facing the outside of the room. Similarly, this flap also have two sides, the one side of the flap which is facing the larynx, जो larynx की opening की तरफ है, अंदर की तरफ, and the other side of this flap is facing the pharynx, which is the common passageway towards the oral cavity. So similarly, उस इंफॉर्मेशन की बेस पे हम जब देखेंगे इसकी दो साइड्स, तो all the two sides of this pharyngeal flap is lined, no, epiglottal flap is lined by two different type of epithelium. The side of this flap which is facing the oral cavity have the epithelium which is stratified squamous epithelium, and the side which is facing the larynx, the lower end of this flap, which is facing the laryngeal opening, or which is facing the larynx cavity, is lined by the proper true respiratory epithelium, which is stratified, pseudostratified columnar ciliated epithelium. दोनों साइड पे हमें epithelium मिलेगी. Then the below epithelium on both sides there is a connective tissue portion which is labeled as loose connective tissue. You can label it simple lamina propria. That lamina propria have loose connective tissue, and within these loose connective tissue there are a lot of glands which are predominantly present on the side which is facing the larynx, but they can also be found on the side of the epiglottis which is facing the oral cavity. These glands are serous as well as mucus secreting glands, and they can be visualized as serous acinus and mucus acinus on both sides. And then the core part of the epiglottis, the central most part from both sides. अगर हम दोबारा रिपीट करें तो दोनों साइड पे फर्स्ट लेयर इज एपिथेलियम, second layer is loose connective tissue having glands, and then the central part from both sides, the third most part from both sides, which is the central core part of the epiglottis, is made up of elastic cartilage. So you can revise the histological features of elastic cartilage from previous semester, that the elastic cartilage on outside is lined by perichondrium, a dense connective irregular connective tissue layer, and then within the perichondrium you can actually identify the outer fibrous layer and an inner cellular layer where the chondroblasts are present, and then the centralmost part of the cartilage matrix is having chondrocytes, and along with chondrocytes there are certain elastic fibers present in the matrix of elastic cartilage. So this was the basic overview. Looking at a micrograph which is just taken from your book, so you can easily identify a flap, a projection. This projection have two sides, one facing the oral cavity through pharynx, and then that side have a very thick multi-layered epithelium in the form of stratified squamous non-keratinized epithelium. That epithelium is covering the whole side, and then the tip part of this epiglottis flap is also lined by stratified squamous non-keratinized epithelium, which is almost coming towards the other side to a certain extent. Then there will be a transition area where the stratified squamous epithelium is now changing into the pseudostratified columnar ciliated epithelium. At this low magnification, you can easily identify the lowerness or the lower area being appearing as darkly stained of the lining epithelium compared to the opposite side, which is comparatively very thick. Then on the both sides below epithelium there is the loose connective tissue part where you can easily identify large of blood vessels, and on the oral side or the side of the epiglottis which is facing the oral cavity will have certain serous and mucus glands which are in this particular figure are more predominant on the side which is facing the larynx, जहाँ पे pseudostratified ciliated epithelium मौजूद है, उसके नीचे लैमिना प्रोप्रिया के अंदर आपको सीरस और म्यूकस वाइटिश और पिंकिश स्टेन नजर आ रहे हैं एसिनस ग्लैंड्स के, and then the core part is again cartilage lined by the perichondrium outside on both sides, and then the central matrix part is having lots of chondrocytes, and in between them you can easily identify the elastic fibers present between them. So this is the basic histological view of epiglottis. Moving onward, larynx को भी हम discuss करेंगे theory के अंदर. Larynx is a box which is lined by the mucous membrane. Mucous membrane always have epithelium. Below epithelium it have lamina propria, and then it have lots of cartilage in it. I hope कि अगर आपने anatomy के अंदर respiratory system पढ़ा हो तो larynx के cartilages की डिटेल और उनके ओरिएंटेशन जरूर आपने डिस्कस की होगी. अगर नहीं हुआ अभी तक डिस्कस तो ये कमिंग लेक्चर्स में हो जाएगा. तो हम मूव करते हैं ट्रेकिया की तरफ. ट्रेकिया इज अ विंड पाइप और ट्यूबुलर स्ट्रक्चर. तो ट्यूबुलर स्ट्रक्चर की बेसिक हिस्टोलॉजिकल फीचर्स आपको बिल्कुल उसी तरह से मिलेंगे. दैट इट हैव अ 4 layer arrangement. The side of the tissue which is facing the lumen of this trachea will be lined by the mucous membrane, and the first part of mucous membrane in this schematic diagram is the epithelium, which is labeled as TRE, which is true respiratory epithelium. It is actually pseudostratified ciliated columnar epithelium with goblet cells between them, and below that there is a thin connective tissue layer which will be labeled as lamina propria. यहाँ पे लेबल नहीं हुआ जहाँ पे connective tissue मौजूद है. Then in this trachea case, tunica mucosa, which is the first layer, don't have muscularis mucosae. तो इसमें smooth muscles नहीं होंगे. Mucosa layer के. But below tunica mucosa, there is submucosa. Submucosa is connective tissue, but an important feature which demarcates submucosa from lamina propria is presence of lots of serous and mucus secreting glands, which are collectively termed as tracheal glands. तो लैमिना प्रोपिया में आपको ट्रेकियल ग्लैंड्स नहीं मिलेंगे, सब म्यूकोजा के अंदर आपको ट्रेकियल ग्लैंड्स मिलेंगे. तो क्योंकि अब यहाँ पे मसल्स की बाउंड्री तो नहीं मौजूद लैमिना प्रोपिया और ट्रेकिया की सब म्यूकोजा के दरमियान, बट एविडेंस मौजूद है ट्रेकियल ग्लैंड्स की सूरत में. तो वो पार्ट अगर पॉइंटर पे आए कनेक्टिव टिश्यू का जहाँ पे सीरस और म्यूकस एसिनी मौजूद हो, तो यू आर सिंपली स्ट्रेट अवे गोइंग टू लेबल इट एज सब म्यूकोजा. एंड देन द पार्ट ऑफ कनेक्टिव टिश्यू अबव इट व्हिच डोंट हैव एनी serous and mucous glands just below epithelium, that part will be labeled as lamina propria. So these are the first two layers, and then the third layer, which in basic case is tunica muscularis. In trachea, the muscular layer is mostly replaced by a C-shaped cartilage, tracheal cartilage, which is present as the third part, A-line cartilage, and then it is a C-shaped cartilage. The ends of both ends of C are connectively joined by a very thin layer of smooth muscles, which are termed as tracheal muscles, which are smooth muscles in nature, having spindle-shaped cells, as indicated by this schematic diagram, eosinophilic spindle-shaped cells. That the both end of that C-shaped trachea ring are connected or basically joined through a band of smooth muscles, which are termed as tracheal muscles. So basically, the third layer, which in general case has to be tunica muscularis, is a layer of cartilage where the ends of the cartilage are joined by a band of smooth muscles here. And then outside, if the trachea is traveling, particularly in mediastinum or in the neck, so then the outermost layer has to be only connective tissue. So then that connective tissue layer, which is just indicated by some cells, fibers, and blood vessels, has to be tunica adventitia. Again, I am repeating on this schematic diagram, trachea is a tube. So tubular structure wall is made up of four basic layers of tunics. The first layer or the first part of the wall, which is facing the luminal side, has to be tunica mucosa. In trachea, the tunica mucosa have two parts, epithelium and lamina propria. The third part, which is the muscles of mucous membrane or tunica mucosa or muscularis mucosae, it is absent. The epithelium in trachea mucosa is pseudostratified columnar ciliated epithelium with goblet cells. Below epithelium, there is a thin layer of connective tissue termed as lamina propria. Then the second layer is submucosa. The characteristic feature of submucosa in trachea is presence of serous and mucus acinus, which are collectively termed as tracheal gland. Then the third layer is made up of cartilage ring, C-shaped ring, and then the ends of C-shaped cartilage are covered by a band of smooth muscles termed as tracheal muscle. And then outside cartilage and muscle, there will be a connective tissue layer which will be termed as tunica adventitia. So this is the basic layout. Now looking and identifying all these features on this micrograph, this is a tube cross section where the lumen is the centralmost part. The lining of the lumen is mucous membrane indicated by M. Within that mucous membrane, the first darkly stained part, which is facing directly the luminal side, has to be pseudostratified columnar ciliated epithelium or TRE, true respiratory epithelium. Below epithelium, there is a connective tissue part, which is termed as lamina propria. Below lamina propria, there is a connective tissue layer, submucosa, where the glands are present. अब glands यहाँ पे इतने इस magnification पे evident नहीं है, तो हम coming slide में देखेंगे. The area indicated by this arrow, submucosa have lots of serous and mucous glands. And then the third layer, which is a cartilage ring. Again, in this micrograph, which is low magnified image or panoramic view, C-shaped cartilage आपको नजर तो जरूर आ रहा है, but उसके classical features यहाँ पे नजर नहीं आ रहे. And then the area where the cartilage is ending will have bands of smooth muscles as indicated by this particular pointed area, and then the outermost part of the trachea from all sides will be only connective tissue, which will be termed as adventitia as pointed by this arrow. And you can easily identify all these layers in this particular schematic section here. Now looking at the magnified part, now we have just taken on the left side, we have just taken a piece of trachea and then magnified it. So the upper side is facing the luminal side as indicated by the lining epithelium. This is the lining epithelium, which has to be pseudostratified columnar ciliated epithelium or TRE. Below that, there is a very thin layer of connective tissue without any glands present. That these two layers are collectively making the tunica mucosa, and then that second layer is lamina propria. And then there is a duct which is opening onto the surface, which is coming from the submucosa layer, serous and mucous acini. So the presence of submucosal layer tracheal glands are clear indication that you are indicating or pointing an area which is submucosa. And then the centralmost part, which is just the substitute of tunica muscularis externa, is actually here is made up of cartilage. This is the matrix part, and outside matrix, this darkly stained area is actually the perichondrium, and then outside perichondrium, this connective tissue layer will be termed as adventitia. And then on the right side, the more magnified micrograph taken from trachea is just indicating the three superficial most layer, the epithelium and lamina propria, which are the two brackets here, or the tunica mucosa. The epithelium is pseudostratified columnar ciliated epithelium, and cilia are quite obvious here. In this magnification, below epithelium there is a connective tissue part with collagen fibers and blood vessels, but without glands. It is labeled as lamina propria. And then the submucosa connective tissue, where you can easily identify the collagen fiber, but the predominant feature is presence of mucus, serous, and serous ganglion acini. All these features are indicating that you are visualizing a submucosa portion, and then below submucosa portion, this is the fibrous part of the cartilage, which is just indicated by F here. Now moving towards the conducting portion parts, which are just emerging from trachea. The first part is termed as extrapulmonary bronchi. एक्स्ट्रापल्मोनरी ब्रोंकाई की मेरे पास यहाँ पे स्लाइड नहीं है, तो उसकी फीचर्स मैं यहीं पे एक्सप्लेन करूंगा. देन जब एक्स्ट्रापल्मोनरी ब्रोंकाई इंटर होगा लंग्स के अंदर, तो देन it will be termed as intrapulmonary bronchi. And now I am just explaining one word, and you are requested to keep it in your mind कि हम उसकी 6000 डिविजन्स को इंडिविजुअली नहीं देखेंगे, बल्कि हमने उनको दो मेजर डिविजन्स में लंग्स के अंदर डिवाइड कर देना है एज bronchi, intrapulmonary bronchi or intrapulmonary bronchiole. All those divisions of the bronchial tree which are present inside lungs, we are going to broadly categorize them in two major classes as intrapulmonary bronchi and intrapulmonary bronchiole. और intrapulmonary bronchiole की जो example हमने सबसे predominant देखनी है, that is the last part of the conducting portion as terminal bronchiole. The major difference between intrapulmonary bronchi and terminal bronchiole is absence of any piece of cartilage. Now I am talking about piece of cartilage. Why I am using the term piece of cartilage? Because in trachea you have just seen that the trachea cartilage was intact and it was present in a C-shaped ring, not complete ring, but a rounded structure which have an intact single piece. But जैसे ही ट्रेकिया से ब्रोंकाई इमर्ज होना शुरू हो जाएंगे, तो ब्रोंकाई के अंदर ट्रेकिया का जो कार्टिलेज है वो इंटैक्ट सी शेप में नहीं रहेगा, बल्कि स्मॉल पीसेस में अपीयर होना शुरू हो जाएगा. लोकेशन उसकी यही रहेगी, but it will start appearing into small pieces. So till the point within lungs slide, जब आप किसी भी क्रॉस सेक्शन को ब्रोंकियल ट्री को देखेंगे जिसके अंदर आपको उसके स्ट्रक्चर में कार्टिलेज नजर आ रहा है, बेशक अ सिंगल पीस ऑफ कार्टिलेज, you are just going to label that particular structure as intrapulmonary bronchi, and any other structure which is a cross section of a tube inside lungs but not exhibiting any piece of cartilage in its wall will be simply termed as intrapulmonary bronchiole. And within that bronchiole, the last part which we will identify separately is the terminal bronchiole, which is the last part of the conducting portion. From that portion onward, the respiratory bronchiole is the first part of the respiratory portion, जहाँ पे gaseous exchange होना है. तो इस बेसिक इंफॉर्मेशन के साथ हम नेक्स्ट स्लाइड देखते हैं. तो अब इस स्लाइड में देखें तो यू आर लुकिंग इनसाइड लंग्स. कैसे पता चलेगा? नो, जस्ट लुक एट दिस क्रॉस सेक्शन and the neighboring area. In the neighboring area, you can identify a small pockets present in hundreds and thousands of numbers. These small pockets are actually the alveoli, and alveoli are always present within lung. On that basis, we label this particular structure as intrapulmonary bronchi. अगर इन्हीं फीचर्स के साथ कोई स्ट्रक्चर हमें नजर आए जिसके सराउंडिंग में हमें alveoli नजर ना आए, तो you will simply label this as extrapulmonary bronchi. You will have lots of questions about it, but we will discuss them in detail in theory as well as in your practical question answer session. Now, looking at this intrapulmonary bronchi structure, the first thing that you must have to identify is the lumen. This is the lumen of this particular structure. The first part of the lumen, the wall facing lumen, is epithelium, which is pseudostratified columnar ciliated epithelium, goblet cells. Below it, it have a lamina propria layer, and then the next particular important feature, जो अब मैं जनरल पैटर्न में आपको बताना चाह रहा हूँ कि जैसे जैसे हम लंग्स में डीप ट्रैवल करेंगे, ट्रेकिया से नीचे ट्रैवल करेंगे रेस्पिरेटरी सिस्टम में, तो नीचे की तरफ टिल द पॉइंट ऑफ रेस्पिरेटरी ब्रोंक्यूल स्मूथ मसल्स बढ़ते जाएंगे, कार्टिलेज कम होता जाएगा और बिल्कुल एब्सेंट हो जाएगा ब्रोंक्यूल में, और नीचे की तरफ वॉल के अंदर स्मूथ मसल्स बढ़ते जाएंगे. अगर हम ट्रेकिया को याद करें तो इन ट्रेकिया स्मूथ मसल्स वर जस्ट रिस्ट्रिक्टेड टू द पॉइंट कि जहां पे उसने दोनों एंड्स को कनेक्ट करना था. बाकी वॉल में किसी और जगह में स्मूथ मसल नजर नहीं आ रहे थे. बट इंट्रापल्मोनरी ब्रोंकाई में you can easily distinguish, no, there is a complete layer of muscles developing. So these are the smooth muscles there, and then this is the cartilage, one piece, second piece, third piece, fourth piece, fifth piece. So there are almost 5 pieces of cartilage present in the third layer of this bronchi, and then it will have an adventitia which is connecting it with the surrounding structure. The outermost connective tissue will have some blood vessels as well. So this is the intrapulmonary bronchi. एक चीज जनरल पैटर्न याद रखने वाला है अभी तक कि जैसे जैसे हम ट्रेकिया से नीचे मूव करेंगे लंग्स में, तो कार्टिलेज की अमाउंट कम होती जाएगी और स्मूथ मसल्स का कंटेंट बढ़ता जाएगा. So you must have to remember this. There are certain other features as well जो हम साथ साथ प्रैक्टिकल में या थ्योरी के अंदर जरूर डिस्कस करेंगे. Then from next point जहां पे cartilage parietal खत्म हो जाएंगी, तो the next division will be termed as bronchiole, and we are just looking at the example of bronchiole as terminal bronchiole. The first and foremost important feature of terminal bronchiole that most of the time it will give you a star-shaped lumen due to the folded appearance of tunica mucosa. So there will be lots of projection of tunica mucosa inside the lumen towards the lumen. So this is a clear-cut indication that you are visualizing terminal bronchiole. Then the lining epithelium of the terminal bronchiole is now changed from pseudostratified columnar ciliated epithelium to simple columnar epithelium. So the lining epithelium of terminal bronchiole is now simple columnar epithelium. Below epithelium, now there is a small amount of connective tissue in the shape of lamina propria. Below lamina propria, submucosa is not there. There is only a smooth muscle layer, which is indicated by a dark stained color area. जहाँ पे spindle shaped cell नजर आ रहे हैं. So this layer is smooth muscle layer, and then outside layer is adventitia, which is connecting this tubular structure with the surrounding organ, and then you can easily identify the alveoli or the small pockets there surrounding this terminal bronchiole. Terminal bronchiole is the last part of the conducting portion, means कि terminal bronchiole तक कोई gases exchange possible नहीं है lungs के अंदर भी. Now we are deep inside lung, but still there is no possibility of gases exchange there. This slide, which is coming with some questions, is a clear-cut demarcation that you are visualizing two cross sections, one on the right, A, the one on the left, B, and then within A and B there are two structures labeled as D and C. The major difference between the two structures is on left side you can easily identify the basophilic stained or bluish appearing cartilage plates there. There are almost 3 plates there visible. Those are the haline cartilage plates which are present in the structure of bronchus, and on the right side in the wall of this structure there is no cartilage plate. This is a clear-cut indication that you are visualizing a bronchiole, and in this particular example the lining epithelium, simple columnar epithelium, and the star-shaped appearance give us that you are visualizing a terminal bronchiole. And in both of these structures there is a complete very circle of smooth muscles there below lamina propria. And then in bronchus there are certain areas of submucosa जहाँ पे glands भी मौजूद हैं, serous and mucus secreting. Respiratory bronchiole is a bronchiole which have not a complete lumen. It has lots of opening in its lining. Those openings are actually the openings जहाँ पे alveolar ducts start हो रही हैं. So in this particular example, you can easily identify that there is an opening in the structure of this tube. Then there is another opening. There is another opening. So these openings are clear-cut indication that this particular structure, the part tube, is connecting with lots of the ducts, which are alveolar ducts, or in this case, the alveoli itself directly. So if we talk about the epithelial features of respiratory bronchiole, the epithelium, now it's changed from simple columnar epithelium of terminal bronchiole to simple cuboidal epithelium. And in this cuboidal epithelium, there will be lots of Clara cells, the cells which are responsible for the production of surfactant, and those surfactants are responsible for not the collapsing of this tube. Below lining epithelium, there will be a scanty or small amount of connective tissue, and then below connective tissue, you can easily identify a darkly stained band of smooth muscles there. So smooth muscles are still there, and then outside it will be connected through adventitia with the surrounding alveoli there. तो रेस्पिरेटरी ब्रोंक्यूल की सबसे बड़ी निशानी कि इसके अंदर कार्टिलेज प्लेट नहीं है, लाइनिंग एपिथेलियम सिंपल कुबाइडल हो गई है और उसकी वाल परफोरेटेड है. परफोरेटेड मीन कि उसकी वाल के अंदर ओपनिंग्स हैं, कंटिन्यूटी नहीं है. Those openings are actually the continuation of the alveolar ducts. Here is one of the alveolar duct, जिस डक्ट के अंदर या तो डायरेक्टली alveoli ओपन हो रहे हैं या ये डक्ट किसी alveolar sac के अंदर जा रही है. Alveolar sac is nothing more but a collection of alveoli. So just look at this collection of alveoli, in which if we have start to count the alveoli itself, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, almost 8 alveoli are present. So this collection of alveoli with a common passage is termed as alveolar sac, and then these alveolar sacs are connected with ducts. These ducts are alveolar ducts, and These are the parts of respiratory portion. Now just look at the alveolar sac. This is the common opening of alveolar sac, which is connected with the alveolar duct, and then lining this opening there are these small pockets which are alveoli itself. अगर हम alveolar ducts की बात करें तो alveolar ducts में वो वाला पार्ट जहाँ पे alveoli ओपन हो रहा है या alveoli स्टार्ट हो रहा है, तो it have a thick particular structure in the alveolar sac lined by simple cuboidal epithelium. तो ये knob like structures मौजूद होंगे which indicates that alveolar duct is still lined by simple cuboidal epithelium, because all of this structure, alveolar duct and alveolar sacs, both are lined by simple cuboidal epithelium. लाइनिंग देखें alveolar sac alveoli की लाइनिंग और है, जहाँ पे वो एंड हो रहा है मींस alveolar sac में जो alveolar sac डायरेक्टली कनेक्टेड alveolar duct के साथ, तो वहाँ पे आपको थिकनेस नजर आ रही है. तो दिस थिकनेस इज एक्चुअली ड्यू टू द प्रेजेंस ऑफ alveolar simple cuboidal epithelium lining the alveolar sac and alveolar duct. If we talk about again another example जहाँ पे एरोज के साथ आपको alveolar duct दिखाई गई है और alveolar duct के अंदर आपको alveoli ओपन नजर आ रहे हैं, और जहाँ पे alveoli ओपन हो रहे हैं उसके एंड के ऊपर आपको थिकनिंग नजर आ रही है. This is thickening is due to lining of the simple cuboidal epithelial cells which are lining the alveolar duct and alveolar sac. Now moving toward the last part, alveoli itself, this small structure, alveoli is lined by simple squamous epithelium, बट उस सिंपल स्क्वेमस एपिथेलियम में कहीं कहीं आपको cuboidal शेप सेल भी नजर आएंगे, तो उन cuboidal इंडिविजुअल सेल्स को हम नाम देंगे. तो दी सिंपल स्क्वेमस एपिथेलियल सेल्स आर termed as type 1 pneumocytes. Type 1 pneumocytes are squamous shape and predominant in number in the lining alveolus. And then between the type 1 pneumocytes, which are simple squamous epithelium cells, there can be individual located rounded nucleus heighted cell labeled as type 2 pneumocyte or alveolar type 2 cells. तो सिंपल अगर हम alveoli की लाइनिंग की बात करेंगे तो वो प्रीडोमिनेंट सेल की बेस पे कहलाएगी सिंपल स्क्वेमस एपिथेलियल सेल्स. बट अगर हम alveolar स्ट्रक्चर की बात करेंगे तो alveolar स्ट्रक्चर के अंदर alveolar wall is made up of two type of cells. The one which is predominant is simple squamous shape cell, and the other one which is present individually is type 2 alveolar cell. The type 2 alveolar cells or type 2 pneumocytes are considered the cells which are responsible for the production of surfactant in alveolus itself. And secondly, they are also considered as stem cells for the type 1 pneumocytes. Type 1 pneumocytes from the two alveoli, one here and here, form the alveolar septa, the septa which is separating the two alveoli, neighboring alveoli, and from both sides of the type simple squamous epithelial cells, in between them, there are small capillaries, as indicated by the arrows in second micrograph, that there are a lot of capillaries which are present between two adjacent alveoli. So these are the capillaries जिनके अंदर सिर्फ एक RBC यहाँ पे नजर आ रहा है, where the gases exchange is happening between the content which is present inside the alveolus and the content which is present inside blood. To be more precisely, the carbon dioxide coming from blood is released inside the alveolus, and the oxygen coming from the inhaled air is transported through RBCs and through these capillaries which are present in the alveolar septa, the boundary between two adjacent lining of the alveoli. यहाँ पे height क्यों कम है? Because we need lots of diffusion from alveolar side and from the capillary side. So nature has provided the lining of the alveolus with lots of simple squamous less heighted cells. And the third type of cell, which most of the time present in the alveolar septa, or sometimes it can be found on the surface of the alveolus, is a type of a macrophage which is residing inside the lung, This large size cell is termed as dust cell or alveolar macrophage. So these are the three predominant cells which are present in the alveolus. अगर आपसे पूछा जाता है कहीं पे name the cells which are present inside the alveolus, so you are going to name as type 1 pneumocyte, type 2 pneumocyte, or type 2 cells, type 1 cells, and third type is alveolar macrophages or dust cells. So these are the basic histological features you must have to identify on the micrograph. I have not included the additional micrograph or homework sheet, thinking that you are going to attempt your midterm from next week. So all the best for your midterm examinations. And if you have any questions, so we have two sessions for this particular system. First, which is coming on Thursday, which we are going to discuss the previous week worksheet and the question answers from this demonstration video. And then also we will have a theory session which will be finalized after consulting your CRs and GRs कि वो किस दिन होना है. उस थ्योरी के लेक्चर के अंदर भी मैं दोबारा से रेस्पिरेटरी सिस्टम को डिटेल के साथ डिस्कस कर रहा हूँ. So with this, I hope that you will understand the features of physiological features of respiratory system. And if you have any question, then we have a Thursday session to answer all those. So Allah Hafiz from my side. Stay safe. दुआ कीजिएगा सबके लिए.